Alcohol and Good Decisions by Orphaned Account on AO3. Episode 6, Chapter 6. To the Hospital. As he made his way to the hospital, Isashi's brain was racked with worry. What if Shouta didn't want to see him? What if he was mad at Hisashi? What if Izuku was mad at Hisashi? He should have done more. Why hadn't he done more? It was a long cab ride to the hospital from Masatafu. But when Hisashi finally arrived, he felt a wave of calm wash over him. Because even if Shouta didn't want to see him, if Izuku didn't want to see him, he'd still have closure. He could either kindle something new or put this whole situation behind him. He really hoped it didn't end up like the latter, though. Walking into the hospital, Hisashi walked up by the gift shop and then did a double take. Should he bring flowers? Shouta didn't seem like the flower type, but Hisashi couldn't just show up empty handed. That would be worse than not showing up in the first place. And so, dragging out his wallet, Hisashi entered the gift shop. A few fretful minutes later, and after some assistance from the kind teenager running the shop, Hisashi exited with his purchase, making his way to the front desk. He signed in before beginning to head towards the room Emmy had given him, and the number 4. When he got to the room, Hisashi had to steel himself for a moment. Standing there, gift bag in hand, he took a deep breath to steady himself. And then Hisashi knocked. After a beat of silence, in which there was no answer, no call through the door, and no footsteps approaching it, Hisashi knocked again, a little louder. Still, there was no answer. Hisashi frowned, wondering if he got the room number correct. A quick glance at his phone told him, yes, he's gotten the number right. And so, biting his lower lip, Hisashi gently turned the doorknob and poked his head in through the doorway. He saw Shouta. Shouta, who was lying in the bed, attached to several monitors, with a multitude of bandages wrapped around his limbs and his head. A shuddering breath left Hisashi's lungs, and he slowly, cautiously, approached the bedside chair. Setting his gift bag off to the side, Hisashi sat down in one of the chairs and turned to face Shouta. Even unconscious, the man was beautiful. Long, dark lashes brushed against his pale cheeks. His hair, as matted as it was dark and curly, framing his face perfectly. Beautiful. Hisashi mumbled, unable to stop himself. And then Shouta moved. Groaning, the man blinked and turned his head from side to side, beardily searching the room, and then his eyes fixed on Hisashi. He grumbled out, Sashi. Breathlessly, Hisashi replied, yeah? Shouta blinked a few more times, trying to get a grasp on everything, before he choked out. Izuku. Where is Izuku? I don't know. Hisashi answered truthfully. I just got here. He and M must have stopped out to get food or something. And then it hit Hisashi that this may be the first time Shouta had woken up, and that he probably should call for a doctor. Hitting the bedside button, he quickly relayed to the nurses that Shouta was awake, and she replied that she was on her way. Sitting back down, Hisashi turned to Shouta and asked, how are you feeling? Like I got hit by a bus. A pause. 2 buses. Despite himself, Hisashi couldn't help but chuckle. Yeah, getting blown up will do that to you. I've had my fair share of close calls like that. An awkward silence fills the air. Clearing his throat, Hisashi said, I got something for you. And something for Izuku, of course. But I got you something. Sheepishly, blushing light pink, he quickly slammered out. It's just a little thing, and it's more of a gag gift than anything, but I didn't know what else to get, but I couldn't just show up with nothing, so I. What is it? Shota asked, interrupting Hisashi's spite, but not sounding judgmental. If anything, he sounded touched, which was an uncharacteristic thing for the man, as Hisashi had learned over the past 24 hours, but was far from unwelcome. Here, Hisashi said, pulling up the bag, and then, from out of it, he tugged out a large, stuffed gray tabby cat. Shota snorted at the sight of it, then grunted under the weight when Hisashi handed it to him. It's weighted, the boy's hero exclaimed. For anxiety and stuff like that. I figured it would be nice to cuddle with, and if you don't like it, Izuku probably would. You could heat it up in the microwave too. Well, that's a little morbid, was Shota's chuckled response, even as he perched the cat on his shoulder. Putting a cat in a microwave. Yeah, I guess it is, huh? Hisashi chuckled right back, brushing a strand of hair out of his face. And then, shocking the blonde, Shota said bluntly, You're beautiful. Hisashi's pale pink blush suddenly became bright red, and he stammered out, that's the drugs talking. Hmm, maybe. Shota replied, shrugging noncommittally before wincing at the motion. But I don't say things I don't mean, even when I'm drugged. Hisashi stammered a bit, squeaking as he grasped for words. Fortunately, he was saved from his embarrassed misery by a nurse knocking on the door and entering. Hello, Mr. Aizawa. She greeted the man. And hello, Mr. Guest. Yamada. Shota grunted out for Hisashi. Name's Yamada. Mr. Yamada, then. The nurse grinned. Now, Mr. Aizawa, how are you feeling? They ran through a standard examination, the nurse taking down notes and making small talk with Hisashi as she ran through Shota's vitals. As the nurse was changing a few of Shota's bandages, the man's eyes wandered towards the open door. Emmy and Izuku should be back by now. He grunted, sounding a bit hurt. Maybe they got up in the cafeteria? Hisashi offered. Oh! The nurse exclaimed, then turned concerned eyes towards Shota. I'm so sorry, Mr. Aizawa. It slipped my mind for a moment. Your son had to be checked into a room, and Miss Emmy went to accompany him. Checked in. Shota's voice was tense, and he quickly pushed himself up on his cot. What do you mean, checked in? Is he okay? Hisashi exclaimed. Knuckles turned white as he gripped the edge of the hospital bed. I mean, he seemed fine earlier, but did something happen? The doctor can tell you more. The nurse began, hesitantly. But for now, please know that he will be fine. He was slightly dehydrated and had a panic attack that rendered him unconscious for a few moments. He's being taken care of. I promise you that. I need to see him. Shota grunted, swinging his legs over the side of the bed. When he went to stand, though his knees buckled, the nurse let out an explanation, rushing to him, putting down the bandages that were busying by her hands. But Hisashi was quick to grab Shota's arms and support him. Hey there. Hisashi started. You need to calm down, Shota. She said Izuku's fine, yeah? Just a little dehydrated. You need to stay in bed. I need to see my son. Shota growled right back, earning a disapproval cocked eyebrow from Hisashi. Yeah, okay. And how are you gonna get there? Walking? Shota, you can't even stand. And then, quickly, before the other man could protest more, Hisashi said, Let me go check on him for you, okay? I'll FaceTime you so that you could see him, okay? But please, Shota, think about yourself too. You can't help Izuku if you are hurting yourself further. Shota was silent for a moment, seemingly chewing over Hisashi's words, but finally he acquiesced, setting back down on the cot. To the nurse's obvious relief, he leaned back against the window pillows. Give me your phone. I'll give you my number. Izuku had been placed in the children's ward on the other side of the hospital. As Hisashi made his way over, he tested out the FaceTime with Shota to make sure it was working. Hisashi entertained the man with commentary on the obscure cartoon art that decorated the walls of the children's ward, and Shota rolled his eyes every once in a while in response. When he got to Izuku's room, Hisashi knocked on the door quietly, just in case the boy was asleep. It was M who answered the door, looking a little worse for wear, but still smiling. Yamada! She exclaimed. Hey, Zuzu! Look who came to visit you! Mr. Yamada! The little boy's weak chirp came from the bed. Hisashi slumped a little in relief at hearing it, knowing that Izuku was conscious and relatively okay, coming as a huge relief. Hi, Mr. Yamada. Did did you come to see me and Daddy? Sure did, little listener. In fact, I have someone here who wants to say hi. When he turned his phone around to face Izuku, Hisashi got a bit of heaven in his ears, hearing the little boy's excited squeals. Daddy! Daddy! Izuku cheered, tears welling in his eyes. Hisashi handed the phone over, and Izuku pressed his face up near the camera, eyes still on his father's face. You're awake. Are you okay? I'm fine, Zuko. Shota's voice came from the other side of the phone. How are you feeling, kiddo? They told me you were dehydrated and fainted. I'm okay, Daddy. The nurses are really nice, and Auntie Joke has been giving me a lot of apple juice. Izuku! Emmy protested. You weren't supposed to tell him. I'm spoiling you, kiddo. Oh, Auntie Joke isn't spoiling me, Daddy. Shota's deep chuckles filled the room, and Hisashi felt the sound chirping away at his heart. A little juice is fine for today, Zuko. The sugar will help you feel a little better anyways. And then, to M, Shota said, M, what did the doctor say about his status? Well, M took the phone from Izuku, retaliating everything the doctor has said about Izuku's health. Hisashi turned to the boy with his gift bag. Hey, kiddo, I got you a little something, if you want to see it. Izuku's gaze was tugged away from Hisashi's phone, instead turning to the man himself, at the mere mention of a present. Yeah, yeah! The little boy chirped happily. What is it? Why don't you open it and see? Hisashi teased, as he set the bag on the boy's lap. Izuku reached into the bag, face contorting in confusion, and tugged out a hefty piece of fabric. Unfolding it to the best he could with his limited range of motion and small arms, and with a little help from Hisashi, Izuku peered at the soft fabric for a few moments, and then promptly screeched. Izuku? Shota's worried voice came out. Emmy looked from the phone and let out a bell-tilling laugh at Izuku's excited state. He's fine, Sho, she said, turning the phone to where the man could see his son. Yamada got him a gift. It took a moment for the phone to register the blanket Hisashi and Izuku were holding, but once it did, everyone in the room heard Shota's deadpan. Great. Thanks, Hisashi. The blanket, in Izuku's tight grasp, had All Might's face embezzled upon it, along with his old-school mantra, plus ultra, in the background. The red and yellows were godly and tacky, and Izuku couldn't have loved it more. Thank you, Mr. Yamada, I love it! Izuku squealed, hugging the blanket tight to himself. Thank you. Of course, Izuku. I had to get something for my favorite little listener, didn't I? I'm your favorite? Izuku gasped dramatically, looking starstruck. And, of course, Hisashi didn't have favorite students or favorite friends. But maybe, no, definitely, he had favorite listeners. Because Shota and Izuku listened to his show. Izuku had said as much, and they warmed their way into Hisashi's heart in a way that no one else had before. Of course you are, little guy. Hisashi all but crooned. You and your daddy are my favorite listeners. I'm offended. Emmy snorted. Do you even listen to my show? No, but I'm still offended. Hisashi rolled his eyes, turning to steal his phone from Emmy, so that Shota could be closer to his son. All right, let's catch your dad up on the news. All Might and Super Friends episode. Yeah, Izuku? Yeah. Shota was discharged 3 days after Izuku, a full 4 days after being bombed. Hisashi having been a staple at the man's bedside. Before and after work, he was always there. He spent the night a few times, took care of Izuku, snuck in good food for Shota to snack on, was there to escort Shota home, despite the underground hero's attempts to insist he could walk on his own. His right leg was still cased, as was his left arm, and there were scabs all over his face, and a scared gash on his temple. Hisashi had just looked at Shota, the same no bullshit teacher look he gave his rowdier students, and Izuku mimicked the look. My God. And then Shota folded. Fine, he grumbled. Carry me out like a princess, for God's sake. And so Hisashi did just that, scooping Shota up from his wheelchair and bridle carrying him to his car. Shota sputtered and protested the whole way, and Izuku skipped after Hisashi, his hands clapped in M's, as he giggled brightly. It was a good day. Unfortunately, M had a late patrol shift that night, so it left Hisashi alone with Shota and Izuku. Not unfortunately. Izuku filled all of the short gasps of silences with questions and theories, his words mixing and blending together until he dissolved into muttering that had Shota smirking and Hisashi laughing. The boy blushed, and his father ruffled his hair. You're good, kiddo. He reassured the boy, who dissolved into mutters once more. But then, it was Izuku's bedtime. Hisashi was given the honors of reading him his bedtime book, a few chapters out of The Lion King, The Witch, and The Wardrobe, an apparent favorite of Shota's, and then tucked Izuku's leg in under the blankets, seeing as how Shota couldn't with one hand. It was entirely domestic, and Hisashi loved every second of it. When he sat down on the floor across the coffee table from where Shota sat on the couch, Hisashi breathed out. I'd like to date you. Shota froze, and then there was silence as the man thought over his next words carefully. I don't typically do casual, Sashi, he said quietly, looking down at the floor. For all that Shota radiated confidence, he seemed so unsure now. I have a kid to think of. A kid who I adore, Hisashi reassured the other man. And I can tell. You're a passionate person underneath that apathetic exterior, Shota. Shota snorted. Is that supposed to be a compliment? Shush, I'm not done. Taking a deep breath, Hisashi continued. Shouta Aizawa, for all that I've known you over the past 5 days, I've grown to care about you. A lot. I don't know if it's love, but I know that it's serious and it's real. I'm attached. I would never do anything to intentionally hurt you or Izuku, and I am so ready to do things not casually, so please, if you want to go on a date with me? Shota was quiet once more, and then, looking up from his carpet, he leaned across the coffee table. Hisashi meeting him halfway, and gently, softly, kissed Hisashi's lips. It was a brief kiss, but it was one that sent fireworks through Hisashi's brain, and there was no butterflies in his stomach. No, because Shouta didn't make him nervous. Shouta felt like home. This, this domesticity, this gentleness, this calmness, everything with the fire that burned in Shota's eyes when they pulled away. Hisashi felt a sense of calm, because he was finally where he belonged. Want to spend the night? Shouta inquired, and then, blushing, he quickly added, innocently, I mean, just sleeping over. Hisashi snorted, giggling a bit manically. Dude, I've sucked your dick. I don't think innocently can describe our relationship. Shut up, Yamada, Jesus Christ. Hisashi shushed Shouta with another kiss, this one slightly deeper, leaving Shouta racing to catch his breath. Yes, I will spend the night, Shouta. The morning after was even more peaceful than the night before. Hisashi woke up early, even though he didn't have to be at work or the station, and cooked a Western-style breakfast for Izuku and Shouta. Izuku was thrilled at the pancakes, and Shouta devoured the bacon and eggs. When Hisashi teased him about it, he cited hospital food having tortured him for the past 4 days. Sitting at the table, holding Shota's hand next to his thigh, their fingers interlocked, Hisashi couldn't help but think he wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Shouta Aizawa wasn't a man of many words, and as such, he sat at breakfast eating silently, his casted arm angled beside the table so that he could wrap his uncovered fingertips around Hisashi's hand. Sitting there, Shouta listened to his son ramble about the nutritional benefits of pancakes. Highly misleading information, but still with root in fact, just like Shota's kid could do. While Hisashi countered with a debate on eggs, Izuku thought for a moment and then took a bite of his own eggs and said out loud, only if they got cheese on them. Izuku couldn't help but snort, and Hisashi laughed out loud. It was that same bright, twinkling laughter that had drawn Shouta to him at the bar so many nights ago. Bright and shiny, filling the room, and some empty cavern that Shouta hadn't realized resided in his chest. Yeah, sitting here, with his son, with Hisashi. Shouta didn't have to say it out loud, because he knew that Hisashi understood. There was nowhere else Shouta would rather be. I low-key forgot it was ending today, and I don't have the hot wings pic. I mean, I have it, and it's ready. I just don't have the thumbnail made for that one. So I'm gonna have to really quickly rush and make one by tomorrow or Wednesday or Saturday at the latest. At the fucking latest. Because holy shit, did I finish that faster than I thought it would be. Holy moly. Holy. Sorry, I need to stop. That's an issue. That's an issue. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. That is an issue. Where? Social media planner, no. I never erased that one. I don't need that one anymore. Asking links, one shots, approved, one shots, long story. Long story. Where's the hot wings one? Oh, it should be right up here. Here it is. The next one that's gonna take over is, as I said, a hot wings. So Dabi X Hawks. It's called The Red String of Fate, and I'm just gonna read out some tags, some random ones. So first one is I could tell when this was written. Dabi is Todoroki Toya. Yeah, that was before it was confirmed. Pining Hawks. Todoroki Shoto needs therapy. Todoroki Fuyumi needs a hug. reference slash implied child abuse. Good sibling Todoroki Fuyumi. Shouta Aizawa training Shinzo Itoshi. That one is random. Child abuse. Yeah, I imagined. Protective Shouta Aizawa. Todoroki Fuyumi and Todoroki Toya are twins. Ooh, that's new. Todoroki Enji being an asshole. Dabi is a little shit. Other additional tags to be added. Midori Izuku is a ray of sunshine. And the relationships is primarily hot wings. With other ships being... Ooh, they have Fuyumi and Miriko. I love that. They also have Todobaku. Ooh, I haven't seen that one in a hot minute. Jiromomo, EraserMic, and that's it. They don't have an Izuku ship. Okay, cool. I'm chill with that. I'm mainly here for the hot wings. I'm gonna have a fun time drawing that. Oh, great. Oh, amazing. Maybe I'll do chibi art of them. I'm gonna try to start getting back into chibi art. I did it before, but it was like really crappy chibi art. No, yeah. Also, my Minecraft isn't working. And I need to get my son to fix it for me. So, like, I don't know anything about modding Minecraft, and it confuses the fuck out of me. And I thought I had to update it, so I tried to update it, but it wasn't updating properly. So I'm like, okay, great, amazing. I just won't play Minecraft. And I'm like, wait, hold up. No, I can't just not play Minecraft. What about my videos? So I had to just play Identity V with you guys. And I'm like, I feel like just a regular gameplay would bore you guys. So I was like, okay, what mini games do they have that are like really cool that you guys would like? There's that mini game. That mini game's probably gonna leave in 3 weeks, and we're gonna get another thing or another mini game. Sometimes we don't have mini games, right? And if we don't, and I still don't have my Minecraft working back up again, I'll just have to play regular Identity V matches with you guys, because I'm slowly getting bored and tired of that thing. Because it's one thing playing Minecraft for hours on end. It's another, and by I mean for hours on end, think about it this way. If I'm recording in a span of 4 days, 2 of those videos are 20 to 30 minutes long each. That is about minimum 50 to an hour, 50 minutes to an hour that I have to record. That is not adding on top the 12 and 12 that I normally have for the other 2, right? So 12 and 12, right? So that's already, what, 24? Let's say 25, just to even things out. 25, right? Plus the 20 of that one that I have, right? So 45, plus 30 of the other one. An hour and 10 minutes, roughly. An hour and, not 10 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes, roughly, is how much footage I need to record for 4 videos, aka 4 recording days, and I tend to try to do it in intervals of 4. So yeah, you could imagine how boring it is to play something like, or it's not boring. I have a system where I press play and I listen to an audiobook, but it's getting to the point where it's like I need to press pause on the audiobook because I need to put my full attention on what I'm doing because I'm so competitive, and it's like, ugh, I need to like fully pay attention. And you could tell when I don't have the audiobook playing and when I press pause. I don't know if it's this recording or one of the other ones, but it's one recording where I had to press pause because I was so fucking slow. And I'm like, ugh, I'm just gonna have to play music, whatever. Sorry, I'm rambling. I love this series. This series is super, super cute, super, super fun. I'm gonna see if I can find any more EraserMic fanfictions because I love, 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 love EraserMic. If you guys ever have any fanfiction recommendations, either for me to read on my leisure time or, you know, for me to podfic, go ahead and drop them in the description. I also have I think I have the link for it in my description here. Not in my description, in my comments. But I also have a link in the description here, where it's a recommendation sheet where you send in and I'll take it. I do need to update that and add another question. and stuff like that, just so it's a little more detailed. So I might delete the one I have right now. I'll try to write down everything I have on a separate sheet. Most of those I think I've already asked for permission. I just haven't had an answer back. Actually, I think a lot of those, the question, like the asking of it, got lost thanks to the great banning of AO3 that happened on me. I was banned for 3 months. That was for commenting, from commenting. That was, and it deleted all my comments. So, but I'm pretty sure, I don't think I've gotten any new ones on there, and if I did, I'm so sorry. I'm probably gonna delete that and remake a new one. So, don't do it there. Put it in the comments. I'll maybe see it, and I'll maybe remember to ask. I do know that in the comments, though, I tend to not do it sometimes. Like 70% of the time. It's just, it gets lost. It gets lost. I put it in my mind like, oh yeah, I'll remember, and I don't. Even if I write it down, I'll forget. I take screenshots, and even then I'm like, oh, this one, did I ask? I think I did. Delete. Ugh, I need to get better at that. I need to get better. I need to get way better at that. And apologies for that. So no, yeah, put in the comments. Hopefully I'll see it. If it really, really intrigued me, sometimes I do screenshot it. But if you just say a name and who it's by and no context, I am most likely going to forget about it. I think there's one that I like immediately asked for it. Like immediately asked for permission. And that was a fan who recommended a Bloody Mary fanfiction, and it was exactly the type of fanfiction that I was currently looking for, but they gave like such precise details, and they're like, this is my favorite all-time favorite Bloody Mary fanfiction. I'm like, say less. I'm sorry, I saw those tags and I saw that summary. Yes. So yeah, anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server is down in the description. I'm sorry, I dropped something. Link to my description server is down in the comments server. What? Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.